Who's the best cornerback in this draft?
Oh, it's hard to say. I have guys in tiers.
Okay.
With the corners, so I would say there's 4 guys where I would be like, if I had any of these 4 guys, I would be lucky to have them, and I think they have their different strengths and their different weaknesses, but overall they're terrific prospects. And that's J.C. Horn, Patrick Surtain, Greg Farley, and Greg Newsome, or Greg Farley, Caleb Farley, and Greg Newsome. Now, if you were to say which one do you think in 3 years would be the best, I would say Caleb Farley.
Oh, wow.
I think he's just that freakish of an athlete. I think his ability, like when the ball's in the air, it's kind of like Deion Sanders, where Deion, when the ball's in the air, you know how Deion just closes extremely well, and then he's able to attack the ball high point as if he's a receiver, which Deion did play some receiver, but he attacks the ball in the air in that way. Farley gives you that. He has this extreme explosiveness to his game. Now, he's a little more raw than some of the other guys. He's not as technically refined. You can tell he's still a little new transitioning to the position, and obviously you factor in some of his injury concerns and issues.
He didn't play last year, right?
I mean, didn't play and then still hurt his back and had to get back surgery. So I don't even know how that happened. So those
and the Niners have some bad luck with the back surgery with Jalen Hurd, D4. But still doesn't mean this guy's the same. It's different. You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. But I think this is the second time he's had this back injury. So
he's the best. He's the best athlete. You're telling me
on film. He has the highest ceiling.
Okay.
I'd say that.
And so let's stick with him. Is he the one that's most likely of the 4 that you mentioned to drop to 43?
Yeah, if any of those guys are going to drop, maybe Newsome. And Newsome is another one that has had some injury issue, hasn't played a ton. But his film, I thought he overall had the best film out of all the cornerbacks. I thought he was the most scheme versatile. A guy who, no matter what scheme if you're a press scheme, he can do that extremely well. Read receivers down very well. Was able to challenge guys at the catch point. If you're an off scheme team and you want to play more like cover 4 quarters, things like that, does that extremely well. Challenges himself in space with his feet. There's some guys that have to play with anticipation. He's a guy that can play with anticipation, but also can react extremely well with his feet from off coverage. So he plays with like this scrappiness and like this cockiness. When I was watching him, I'm like, damn, like this is like watching Jair Alexander. So he's that type of guy. But I come to find out because I'm watching him on film, I'm thinking he's a 5'10", 185-pound guy. He's 6 foot 192. So he has good size, has all the ability, ran in the 4.3s at his pro day, tested out the charts. There's a lot to like about him, but obviously, like he did miss time. So, you know, that's on a team to figure out his injury issues and how important those are to their evaluation.
In terms of Farley, though, if he drops to 43, would that be like if he was on the board and Rondale Moore were on the board, who would you take?
Farley.
Why?
Because receiver, you can kind of manufacture production. Corner, you're either good or you can't play. And then at that point, I think nobody would fault you for taking a risk on a player that has that elite type of upside. I think you can look at like, you know, the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Dallas Cowboys a few years back when one team took Miles Jack, when they were talking about Miles Jack, his knee would never be the same.
Right.
And he ended up, I mean, last year, nobody's talking about because Jacksonville sucks, but he had his best year as a pro last year, played terrific at middle linebacker. He's still playing. Somebody who they were really concerned with his knee. You look at
UCLA.
UCLA played running back there, crazy, right?
Yes, he did.
And then you look at who the Cowboys took. They took from Notre Dame.
Oh yeah. Jalen.
He had the whole drop field. Jalen Smith had the whole drop foot and all this other stuff. They were talking about him, his knee, maybe never playing again and whatnot. But it's like, you know what? I'm gonna take a risk on this high-end talent that maybe is hurt, but second round is like if it works out, we hit big like Jacksonville did. Like Dallas hasn't had as big, but they've had a consistent starter.
Okay, so Caleb Farley seems like he might be BPA on your board at 43, but there's a chance he won't go because a lot of people look at him as a top 10 prospect with just injury issues.